Our brain cells, due to this hustle culture, I just want you guys to know, this is a little disclaimer. Like, I have no more brain cells left in me. Like, honestly, I feel like I've been in such like go, 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 go that I literally have no more in me. I'm like to even think past what I need to do in the right now moment. Welcome back, guys, to Sipsparkshare. I'm Sarai.
And I'm Alexandra. And today, if you haven't guessed it, we're talking about hustle culture.
Yes, you know, that mindset where you constantly got to be on productivity mode. And if you, God forbid, decide to take a break, it's like you feel so guilty.
Shame
and
on
it's
you.
the end of all. So let's get right into it. What exactly is, because we're joking about it, but what is the hustle culture?
Okay, according to Google, hustle culture is a mindset that encourages people to work hard and constantly strive for success. However, it often comes with the expense of their personal well-being.
Yes. And what they mean, I think, by their personal well-being is that you literally feel that you are burnt out.
Burnt out.
Like, have you ever just felt so exhausted where you couldn't even keep on going, but because you know that if you don't, you're going to feel guilty?
Yeah.
Like,
Shame.
horrible.
It's a shame that you are resting, that you're taking a day off, you're taking a mental day, you're taking a break,
Yeah.
you're sleeping, you're eating, you're doing anything.
Because that's a waste of time
It's
in
a
the
waste
hustle
of time,
culture.
yes.
Like, it really is. And it's so sad that it's become this. And I can only speak for myself because I used to be in that hustle mentality. And it wasn't due to because I wanted to. It was kind of just like a survival mode for me.
Yeah.
I had to constantly be doing things or working extra amount of hours just to be able to get by, to get through.
Yeah.
But in the sense of me going into that due to that reason, it did also lead for room for me to escape my own life.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that I was working so many hours and I was doing so many things at once that I didn't have time to sit and be with myself and figure out, well, how are you feeling today, Sarai? Like, are you good? Are you tired? Are you sad? Do you feel lonely? Like, none of that existed or mattered because all I knew was to constantly keep moving forward and do not allow yourself to
have this discussion. I
Yes.
always have this discussion with my mother about the super mom.
Yes.
We have this fight all the time.
Okay,
Because
tell us
I
about
always
it.
tell her, why do I need to be a super mom? You was a super mom. Why do I need to be a super mom? Why do sometimes moms believe that if you don't hustle, if you don't do 15,000 activities, if you don't do the playground, if you don't do this, if you don't make the pancakes from scratch, or if you don't make those muffins from scratch, why is it that they believe that takes away from you? Like,
Because
why must it be-
that's what they were made to believe.
Exactly.
That if they didn't run the house from top to bottom, they weren't considered a good wife or a good parent.
Yeah.
Right? So that just gets carried on from generation to generation. And we're just at the point that now it's no longer your household that puts the pressure, but now it's also what you see on social media. So that's a new layer of pressure. And I think that's where this hustle culture has come from. It's always been there because, like you said,
That's what I was
our
gonna
parents
ask.
had that
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But now it's just been enhanced that now you don't even get a break, because if you thought that, like, for example, I used to work all the time. That was my way of escaping my home, because I was like, I'd rather deal with my work problems than with my home problems, right?
Yeah.
But now, fast forward to this day and age, it's like, not only I can't escape home anymore, because if I'm escaping home, but then I go on my phone, there goes the other problem. So there's no room to just get your mind off of it. So it's like, how do we free ourselves from all of this productivity pressure?
Yeah.
What can we do?
Yeah. Well, number one, I think that you have to stop living for other people. Stop living for everyone else. Stop putting these unrealistic goals in your brain. And when I say unrealistic goals, I don't mean regular goals. That you have a goal, for instance, you want to own a home, you want to own a beautiful car, you want to, I don't know, travel the world, whatever.
Yes.
Those are not unrealistic goals. What I mean by unrealistic goals is setting the bar so extremely high
That you'll have to work for the rest of your life in order to obtain it.
that you don't enjoy, or you're not fulfilled with the process. You cannot get here without being here. There's levels to this shit.
That is so true.
So enjoy every single level.
Yeah.
And I think that people are forgetting, because they want to be this hustler, because they want to show people that they're a hustler, because they want to prove to people for some reason.
Sometimes it's more proving to yourself, to
proving
be honest.
it to yourself
Yeah.
that you don't even enjoy your present.
Correct. I think what's happening now is that we are now able to see red flags. Doesn't matter what the situation is, because we've received more information, we've gotten more educated. We now are able to not only spot the red flags, but also say, hey, I can see that you're falling into this trap.
Yeah, address
As to before, because again, we were completely oblivious. We had no idea. We didn't see the red flags. Therefore, if I didn't see a red flag, how am I going to tell you to stop doing that behavior that you have going on?
No, those red flags were smacking me in my
My
face.
red flags were,
And I was just
my
patting them
red
away.
flags were white. I think they were see-through. They had no color. I couldn't see. Like, I was blind. But now, like, putting on these new pair of glasses, I am able to see sometimes too much for my own good. But it's like the beauty of coming from not knowing to knowing. But I think what we want to shine light on is not to come down on people that are in this culture. Because again, I feel like we go into things sometimes not even knowing or because of necessities. But if you happen to know someone who's in that hustle culture and that's working so hard, but you notice that they're fatigued, you notice that they're tired, you notice that they're exhausted, they're burnt out, instead of telling them or looking down upon them because you're trying to do too much or whatever, try to be a helping hand and let them know, like, hey, I think that you just need a break. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be there for each other.
I think
like
so.
We're discussing hustle culture because it's the reality that we're living in. We're all trying to obtain things, but the reality is we need to find out the reason why and also learn to balance it out. This is what it's all about.
It's all about balance.
It's all about balance. So if you do feel yourself that you're one of those people that, you know, you have to achieve certain things and you're constantly just on the grind and you don't know how to stop, our recommendation is that you have to learn to, like we were saying before, just kind of like put a boundary.
Put a boundary.
Put a boundary, slow down. It's not worth you achieving something, but then losing something else.
Yeah.
I think the point of achievement is that when you finally are able to make it, you know, to enjoy the creation that you worked so hard for, not just let it slip away so quickly because you're on to the next one, you know?
Yeah, live the moment. I think that people need to live the moment a lot more.
Yeah.
And like Sarai was saying, we're not trying to downplay or put down anybody.
Yeah.
I think it's very empowering.
Yes.
When a person has like that passion, that fire,
The drive.
that drive. I think that's empowering. That's something that I look up to. It's inspiring.
It
it's
is.
motivating.
But it's when you
However,
lose sight of what you were really trying to achieve. And I think that's what happened. And it's what happened to me. It's like I lost sight of what I was truly going after because it got mixed in with other vain things just because I wanted to be or achieve a certain thing, because I wanted to aspire to what the society wanted me to be. I wanted to fit into that mold, even though we all do it subconsciously. Like we're not aware, but that's why we have to be careful what we intake.
Yeah.
Like extremely careful, because it does affect you in so many ways. Like ask yourself, in reality, what's the lifestyle that you truly want for yourself? Because once you're able to determine the type of lifestyle that you want, that will determine the type of hustle that you'll need to do. Maybe some of you guys are working extra hard for no reason. And other people maybe need to step it up a little more if this lifestyle that you want acquires hard work. Like it all depends. What is it that you truly want, not what you think that somebody else wants for you.
And then also be healthy about it. It always going to come down to it. You got to be healthy about it. You can always hustle and you can always, grind your way to the top in a healthy way. You got to take small steps and, limit yourself. Like, I know that a lot of people don't look at that and say, okay, what do you mean, Alexandra, limit myself? I want to do the best that I can.
Explain, because to a person that comes from the culture, I'm like, limit myself.
Yes.
Why would I do that?
So what I mean by limit yourself is you have to know what you can handle. You have to know mentally. I say it all the time. I cannot mentally handle this right now. Okay. You have to know what is your limit. Everyone has a limit.
Sometimes you add your own pressure, apart from the ones that you're probably already getting. So everybody's situation is different. But like Alexandra said, you have to know your capacity. And if you don't know it, it's okay. You'll figure it out as life hits you. Because believe me, it's going to hit you. Because you will crash and burn when you don't know how to take breaks. Because I burnt out. I never thought that I would be burning out, that I was even capable of crashing. Because again, I was so much younger. I had so much more energy. So also when you're coming into age, you start realizing I was giving a 10 when I probably didn't even have to. And now I need that 10 and I don't have it in me because I overworked. I'm so serious.
No,
I sat down one day and I started thinking, I was like, wow, the power of working smart and not hard, I'm really big on that. Because I gave so much of me, of my hard work, into things that I should have never done. And I realized that now. And I was like, had I given that energy, that drive into what I should have, right? My life would have been a whole different thing. Like I sit down and I think about those things. And I was like, sometimes when you're just in this go, go, go mindset, you're not even thinking.
You're not.
You're on autopilot.
You're on autopilot,
And it's so sad when you actually come out of it and you rewatch it. Because I know, I don't know if this happened to you guys, but I've sat and rewatched, replayed my life.
Yeah, it happened.
And I was just like, wow, man. What were you thinking? You weren't thinking clearly. But you just had to power through. You had to power through, and because you were just powering through and you were like, I got to get this, I got to get that, and I needed to reach certain things, I lost a lot along the way. And I think that's what's happening nowadays. People are so focused on obtaining things, thinking that that's what's going to bring them to their happiness. And the sad part is that everyone realizes that once you get the things that you said you wanted, it's still never enough. It's never enough. Because in reality, it's not really what you even wanted, it's what you thought you wanted. Yeah. And it's just like, wow, guys, like
we had a moment there.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here and I was like, I know exactly what, because we're talking about hustle culture, but this has been an ongoing thing.
It's always been there.
It's always been there, but it's just enhanced because now we see it not only in our spaces, right? But now we have to see it in our phones.
Yeah, you open up your phone.
You open up your phone and it's like, this person's doing this person's doing that. These people are being so productive 24/7. I'm like, when the hell do they breathe?
Yeah, yeah.
When do they sit down and connect with their families, with their friends, if they got to constantly be recording and doing all these things? And it's like, so much of the connection is being lost because we're trying to grab material things. But those material things don't make you happy if you can't share it with somebody. If you can't have an experience with someone, those are the things that really matter. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're watching this today and you're one of those people that have been powering through and grinding, I hope that you can continue to do that because it's important. It's what keeps you going. But don't let that just be it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there's more to life than those things that we think that are going to make us happy, like those materialistic things.
And when you focus so much on one thing, you have to remember that all the other things are getting lost, in space.
Absolutely.
You can't put 100% all the time in, let's say, work.
No.
And then expect that you have that same 100% to now go home and be a dad or be a mom or, be a good friend or be a good wife or whatever it is that the situation is.
Yeah.
You have to, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. Once again, when is it the step that went too far?
Correct.
When is it that it becomes now overproductive?
Well, I think that's a good, then we have to catch what's the sign. So I think sign number one, when you're no longer looking forward to doing it, you're just doing it because you know that now you have to keep up.
Okay.
I think that was a big major flag for me. It was like, okay, you're no longer enjoying the work that you're doing. It's become I don't want to have to do this today. That is a major sign that something's not right when you're no longer looking forward to doing the things that you actually loved, right? So that's sign number one.
Okay.
And we'll start with work. Let's say you got this job, you loved working there, but all of a sudden you find yourself that in the morning when you're waking up, you're kind of like dreading and not wanting to go to it. Take time right there to, instead of just getting up and going, which is what we're accustomed to because you got to make it to work, but ask yourself, why did this feeling hit me? There must be something that's going on. Maybe I'm overworking. That now I'm like dreading it, but I don't want to say no because I'm just the type to always get it done.
Exactly.
Right? So now you got to look within, like, okay, is it that maybe I said a little bit too much of a yes when I should have said to my boss, hey, like, honestly, you've already given me a lot and I really don't feel like I can handle this one. And I'd rather say no than to say yes and then fail at it. Like sometimes you got to be okay with doing that.
Yeah.
And that can carry over even into just parenting.
Absolutely.
Maybe you had a busy schedule out for your child, but that day you're tired. You are allowed to tell your child, like, hey, we're going to have to reschedule because mommy's not feeling good today. She doesn't feel like she's capable. And not feel guilty that I must be a horrible parent because I didn't take my child to this recital or to whatever activity I had done. Like, we need to learn to take a pause. That's so important. Absolutely. What's another sign that you think?
I think a good sign is when you start getting like irritated, like everything irritates you.
Yes.
Because I'm so guilty of this because I don't realize that I'm overwhelmed until I start getting irritated with the little minute. It can be anything. A loud noise would irritate me. Like any little tiny thing. That's how I know that I'm already overworked. And that's how I know when I'm already taking on too much.
Yeah.
Like I have a whole entire attitude change that it's such it's not even a drastic change. It just starts with little tiny things. But my close friends already know those little, like when I start with certain
Those
things.
triggers, I like
Those
to
little
call them.
triggers, yeah, like they can already call it out because they're so small that I don't notice it. I notice the big ones,
Yeah.
obviously, but the little tiny ones, I don't notice it. Another thing is, I think that when you start like, it's something so regular, but like when you don't have like like when you start forgetting to eat.
Guilty.
When you start forgetting to eat and sleep, like your hours of sleeping just get lower, like they just start diminishing. And when you start eating now just one meal a day, I think that that's already, that you've already went overboard, and people do it. It's such a regular thing. Let me tell you something. If you knew how many of my friends, I'm not going to call them out or look at them. But if you knew how many of them think that it's normal to have one meal a day, that is so not normal.
Oh, wait, I have a better one.
What?
When you begin to stop going to the bathroom because you feel like you don't got time to get up and, you know, just go pee because your body needs to, because it's a waste of time that your body wants you to go do that when you feel like, no, I need to finish what I'm doing.
Yeah. I do that all the time.
It's sickening, guys.
It is, and that's so unhealthy.
That is so unhealthy.
Yeah, no, really.
But it is so common. You know how many times I'll be at work and I am literally like, I gotta go. Yeah. But I'm like, but I gotta finish before I go. And it doesn't matter how long it takes me. I am not getting up to waste time when I want to finish this and be in peace. Yeah. That is a crash and burn type of situation right there. Like, we got to take breaks. We have to stop with the overly pushing ourselves, because in the end, we're all going to crash. Yeah. And that's not what we want for you. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be able to breathe, to have a normal life, quote unquote. But this go, it's killing everybody slowly but surely. So we hope that if you are one of those people who are a part of this hustle culture, that you've taken time to recognize that time is valuable. And yes, go get it. Be on the grind. Do what you want to do. But remember that what's most important is the moments that you get to spend with your loved ones.